I reevaluated all the evidence. It took every resource I had, but the final answer is clear. Ularu is the mole.
I told you Imogene was innocent. It just didn't add up.
In due time. I'll be reaching out, but right now we need her to remain in hiding. Indeed. I've briefed Masako and discussed her plans on handling this. While we both agree Ularu is guilty, we need irrefutable evidence before presenting this to the board. For now, we lead everyone to believe that Imogene was the mole, and the situation was dealt with.
I see the sense in it, but hasn't Imogene suffered enough? Apparently not.
Imogene is a resourceful woman. I have no doubt she's in a safe house of her own design. In fact, she probably sees this as a paid vacation. My guess is she's lounging on a couch somewhere, binging all those movies she hasn't had time to watch. It's a means to an end. We'll make sure Imogene is properly exonerated and welcomed back with open arms if this plays out our way. Masako has tasked Ularu with writing the program to bring down Infinity Ltd. We believe she'll take the chance to incriminate Masako within the program, so this could provide the evidence we're looking for. You will be tasked with the assignment to infiltrate Infinity, so before you go, I want you to bring that program to me. If I can't find hidden code on a single slate, I certainly deserve to be fired. Ularu is limited in what she can hide here. Plus, she'll have no reason to believe anyone will be looking in the first place. Then we'll have to find another way to build a case against Ularu. And it won't be easy. Good. Once Ularu believes she's properly deflected any suspicion, I've no doubt she'll be bold enough to hide something within whatever program she writes. Now, let's attend a meeting. We called you all together to discuss a recent security breach. We discovered a mole within the company who leaked vital information about Project Dominion to Infinity Ltd.
You've got to be kidding me.
Just don't tell me it's Vina. I think we've all noticed she's not here.
Before you speculate any further, no, it's not Vina. The guilty party is Imogene Salzo, much to my disappointment. Our operative here obtained the evidence to confirm it.
Dalton, how does something like this happen?
Imogene is highly trained. Ularu can even speak to that. We demand the best. So that's the threat we deal with.
I may have well-trained operatives, but security is your responsibility, Dalton. This is a huge failing on your part.
I accept the responsibility, but let's not forget, the mole has already been exposed and dealt with.
Of course, thanks to another of my operatives. Watch me.
Imogene's been dealt with, so bickering is pointless. All I care about is reacquiring our property and what this might be costing us financially.
Vina is completing the internal neuroamp prototype as we speak. Our operative will receive the implant, infiltrate Infinity Ltd, and obtain any and all research. I have it on good authority the experimentations they've done to replicate the missing pieces of our work have resulted in fatalities.
And the public often gets what it wants.
If I may make a suggestion, we should give this evidence to David at SSNN. It's the best neutral method of releasing this information to the general public.
That'd make my job easier.
David it is, then.
Masako, the internal neuroamp is ready if you want to send down the candidate.
I hope you're ready for this. Good. I can tell Vina is going to enjoy working with you. Vina will be waiting for you in the NeuroAmp division in R&D. Once you're done, meet me in my office. Be ready to discuss the details of your next assignment.
Ah, here's my lucky candidate. I hope you're ready to embark on one amazing journey. The internal neuroamp is basically the next leap in our line of influential amplifiers. It gives the user dominion over a less dominant target, meaning you can heavily influence another person's thoughts and actions. Technically, that remains to be seen. It's not legal, but those decisions will be left up to a higher power who is neither you nor me. Oh yeah, it gives Ryujin Industries a huge advantage over the competition. So, are you ready to get started? Neurosurgery is my specialty. I've performed more operations than I can count on a wide variety of brains. So I like to think that I'm wildly overqualified. Really, I could do this in my sleep. Oh, don't worry. That's not on the agenda. Now, just a few details before we begin. Obviously, we'll be putting you under. I'll be making a small incision in the back of your skull where the internal neuroamp will be fitted. The whole procedure should only take 3 to 4 hours with little to no downtime afterwards, provided DeMarcus got everything entered correctly.
Did I not just say I quadruple-checked the numbers?
You know I'm just giving you a hard time. Besides, I've got to make sure my patient is reassured. There's little to no risk, assuming your brain is typical and you don't have any adverse reaction to the anesthesia. First sign of trouble, we back out and start evaluating other candidates. You're gonna be fine. All I'm saying is that you're in good hands. Now, just lie down on the table once you're ready, and we should be good to go. So, how are you feeling? You look good? Huge success. No surprises, no signs of rejection. You were the ideal subject. Now, we just keep our fingers crossed and hope no unknown side effects come creeping in later. That's exactly what we want. Just a couple quick notes before using the internal neuroamp. First, you can only influence one person at a time. And second, the effect is temporary, so be prepared if you use it in a combat situation. Let's just say it varies based on the user. Some people have greater mental capabilities than others, which would increase the duration. Now that's something to talk to the drone engineers about. Now let's test this sucker out. DeMarcus has graciously volunteered for science, he says. Our preliminary testing was rigorous enough that there's little to no risk involved here. The biggest unknown was finding the perfect compatible alloy for the implant. We've had the tech itself working externally for quite some time. Please, we're not Infinity. We believe in due diligence when it comes to tech like this. But, just in case something does go wrong, we've got him locked up in the test chamber. DeMarcus loves being hands-on and experiencing things on his own. It's probably why he's the second most published scientist here, after me. Just head up the stairs nearby to the observation deck. Oh my god, that was incredible! What was it like?
Wow. How to describe it? 1 minute I was excited about seeing how the experiment would go. The next, I had a brief moment of disorientation and figured I must have lost my train of thought. It felt eerily natural. And yes, I admit it, just as you predicted.
I knew it, I knew it, I knew it! I can hardly wait to finish writing up my latest dissertation. And you owe me 100 creds.
I'll be keeping myself under constant surveillance now. I'm curious if any other side effects may manifest.
So, tell me all about it. How did it feel? Any side effects? Well, luckily that isn't up for you to decide. I hope you know, you're talking about banning my life's biggest accomplishment.
I'd even go as far as to call it the settled system's biggest accomplishment. That's something Ryujin isn't going to let go of easily. It really was fascinating how all I experienced was a moment of disorientation. It's truly remarkable tech. Those are the kind of edge cases that I let the board work out. Obviously, tech like this is going to come with its fair share of red tape. Not at all. But I can imagine if I experienced disorientation like that, but regained my awareness in another room, it could be a bit jarring. We'll definitely be running some more tests in the future, though. So many situations to account for. Maybe that's the beauty of it. You'd never know. Besides, the NeuroAmp isn't total control. If a subject's morals or beliefs in something are strong enough, we still see points of failure. That being said, it's been interesting to discover the actions our subjects sanction in their own minds.
Okay. As much as I'd love to go over the details and potential of this amazing piece of technology I created, Masako wants to see you. It sounds like you have an assignment to complete, and DeMarcus and I have a lot of notes to record.
Now that you've been outfitted with the internal NeuroAmp, it's time to put that tech to work. We're sending you into Infinity Ltd. Lucas Drexler is about to learn exactly why you don't steal from Ryujin Industries. All right. Yuko has provided a layout of Infinity Ltd. You have two options for this assignment. We'll be providing you with the means for both. Option A, you gain entry through their maintenance access on the roof. Option B, we give you an assigned identity and arrange a meeting for you. Option A, you need to remain under the radar the entire time. Option B, you have a slight cover that may give you the opportunity to talk your way to your objectives. Of course not. The meeting is just a legitimate way in. Once inside, you'll be led to a waiting room where your host will be running late. That's your opportunity to make your way to either the executive floor or R&D. Just hope those acting skills don't get you caught or killed. Now, depending on your preference, you'll either find yourself in the maintenance hallway or the marketing department. From there, you have 3 targets. First, you have Lucas Drexler's computer, located in his office on the executive floor. Second is Faye Sengsavan's computer, in research and development. And third, you need to obtain the prototype they are working on, also in R&D.
As you can see, you've several floors to traverse, so I hope you're prepared for an adventure.
You'll only have free range on the marketing floor. Infinity may be cheap, but they know at least some level of security is needed in this business. Nothing a good operative can't manage. Now, I had Ularu create a program that you need to run on both Lucas and Faye's computers. I'll let her explain the details.
You see, once we expose Infinity Ltd., all of their data is going to come under intense scrutiny. We only want the public to know about their mercenary hires and unauthorized human trials, but Project Dominion needs to remain confidential. I've created an overseer program that will gather all the evidence we need, and at the same time delete anything relating to Ryujin and the internal NeuroAmp. Anyone who comes forward to defend Lucas would be prosecuted as either aiding or being an accessory to these crimes. They all know career suicide when they see it. As for Lucas himself, if he wants to speak up and add corporate theft to his laundry list of crimes, fine. But who's going to believe him?
Huh. So much for freedom of the press. Or accountability.
If the media were to draw their own conclusions, I'm certain they'd just create a panic among people. Controlling the narrative is of the utmost importance.
I don't know. Maybe some goddamn panic is warranted.
No, we don't want to mess on this one. A body count will only distract from what we're trying to accomplish here. In fact, unless they're a master at being one with the shadows, I'd suggest you leave your friend behind. Lower the risk. Simon Rychek provided some useful info on how to evacuate civilians from the building. I'm sure you remember him from Sidonia. Infinity's maintenance crew is understaffed. It's only a matter of time before pressure gauges go unchecked and they have a massive issue on their hands. Once that pressure becomes too much, every floor in the building is going to suffer from gas leaks, setting off an automated alarm to evacuate the building. Simon was able to get a passcode for you to access their system's computer, so you can force the heating system to fail. I'm told security has masks to handle the situation, so the guards will still be stationed in the building. It's also possible they'll activate their building's defense system as well. You may run into a few automated turrets, so you'll still want to try and stay out of sight. If the information Simon provided is accurate, you can reach the control systems through a computer located in the maintenance area. It's a pretty convenient stop if you enter in through the roof access. That old man's going to be around for some time to come, especially since I heard you helped him get rid of an old thorn in his side. We're also issuing you an operative suit. It should help reduce their ability to detect you. These suits are typically reserved for the senior ranks, but we want to reduce as much risk as possible. Please, you're an exception. But we can talk promotion after you pull off this assignment. And that's what we're hoping for. If you can pull this off, even I'll be impressed.
Once you've run the Overseer program and obtained the prototype, your final step is to deliver the slate to David Barron at the SSNN field office. If he asks questions, feel free to give him just enough information to pique his interest, but no mention of Ryujin or who you are. SSNN is used to anonymous tips. They'll do whatever verifications they deem necessary on their own to confirm the story. Ularu assured me it's safe.
The Overseer program will purge itself once its primary function is complete. The only thing left on that slate will be proof of Infinity's crimes.
It doesn't matter what he believes. David's first move will be to verify the information you provide. Once he receives confirmation, which he will, he'll see it as his duty to report the news. Good. I guarantee the moment he scratches the surface on that story, he'll have a broadcast sent to every system. So, any final questions before you go? You'll be restricted to the marketing floor. An appointment is not a free pass. You have the ability to manipulate others. If someone's in your way, you could get them to move. If someone has a keycard, that means you have a keycard. The possibilities here are really up to you. Depending on whether or not you evacuate the building, you'll mostly be looking at security guards, much like we have here. You may encounter an automated defense system in the form of turrets as well, so be careful. Good luck, and be sure to report directly back to me when you return.
Here's Simon's passcode, your operative suit, the Overseer program, and your cover identity. Your cover ID card is encoded with roof entry and elevator access, so that's your ticket in, either way. Don't screw this up, Skylar Lumen.
Do you have the program? I'm certain Ularu won't pass up this opportunity. Aha. The decryption's hit a snag. There's definitely something here. This is exactly what we needed. According to this code, Ularu intended to plant false evidence that would show Masako was working with Lucas. The moment you launched the Overseer program, a series of fabricated communication files would have been uploaded to the Infinity Ltd network. One of them even frames Masako for encouraging Lucas to push for early human trials.
This just keeps getting better and better. Wonder if we're ever gonna be on the wrong end of this snake.
I'm going to copy the necessary files off this slate and issue you a new one. I want to keep this one intact, so Ularu can't dispute it. All right. Now, we finally have the evidence we need to prove Ularu's guilt.
Finally. Taking her down might be the only good that comes out of all of this.
There's no doubt. Should you have even noticed the upload, the program itself is designed to ignore any stop commands. It would have been too late. This evidence is indisputable. To deny it would be to admit involvement. And then we'd have a much larger problem on our hands. Just remain focused on your assignment. Without that falsified evidence, Ularu is in for a big surprise. I fully expect she'll be eagerly awaiting SSNN's broadcast, anticipating Masako to be accused alongside Lucas Drexler. Here's the new slate with the revised Overseer program. Let's get this assignment finished the right way.
Hello. Did you have an appointment with us today? Ah, yes, from Lumen Interactive. The elevator here will take you to the marketing floor. Once you arrive, you'll want to talk to Ellis Ortiz. He's the receptionist there and will be happy to help you.
Can I help you? All right. You've got my attention. What's this so-called story about? Corporate greed claims victims once more. And you have evidence to support this claim. Perfect stranger or not, we won't air anything without some sort of hard evidence. I don't suppose you want to tell me how you got this evidence. Of course. I just hope your source is as reliable as you think they are. Is there at least a name I can cite as my source? Why am I not surprised? As long as the evidence is adequate and verifiable, I expect it'll be aired within the hour, if not sooner. Now, if you'll excuse me, I obviously have some work to do.
If you have a new story for me, I'm very happy to pay your fee.
What a sordid mess. We've got some other sources we've been interviewing, but I'd love to get your take on the record. So there was a mercenary company, the First, and they were involved in taking farmlands from Freestar Collective families. Extortion, death threats, murder, all of it. Is that right? Not going to say. I will never, ever give up my source. If anybody asks about you, they get the same answer. Good to know. So all of that? Terrible. But Ron Hope, the Ron Hope, was involved with it at the highest level. All of that suffering was a plot to save Hope Tech from going under using the side effects of a fertilizer he developed. Let me be blunt. The other sources say you killed Ron Hope. Is that correct? And all that money didn't help in the end. After all of that, the future of Hope Tech is an open question. Their stock has already taken a beating. Not sure if it's going to go into freefall. Any comment? For what it's worth, I'm rooting for them too. Thanks. If you listen to the news, you'll definitely hear this. And, maybe try not to ice any more CEOs. Just a thought.
I've yet to hear anything of note on SSNN. let's hear your report. Good. David won't be able to resist a story like this. He'll do some preliminary confirmations, which will be enough to get the broadcast out to the public. And how did the NeuroAmp perform? I thought it would be. So now it's just a waiting game for SSNN to break the news. Once the story airs, we have another board meeting scheduled to decide how to handle Infinity. Go ahead, Maeve.
The SSNN broadcast has started. Shall I patch it through?
Yes, thank you.
Infinity Ltd. and Lucas Drexler are currently under investigation for a number of violations, including murder for hire, unauthorized human trials, and corporate theft. Authorities representing the UC and the Freestar Collective have been dispatched to a consolidated mining station and the clinic. Both locations are believed to hold numerous victims. Drexler's motivation appears to be an attempt to launch a new product based off stolen information from a competitor. The details on the project itself and the competitor have yet to be confirmed. This has been David Barron for SSNN.
Perfect. This exposure puts Infinity right where we want them. The meeting will begin momentarily, but I want you to discuss the options we have with the other members. Infinity's net worth is about to hit rock bottom, so this gives us the opportunity to win a little more public faith. Infinity is about to crumble before the eyes of the public. They employ thousands of people, and those thousands of people are now worried about their jobs. That's where we come in. First, we'll issue a public statement expressing disgust at their leadership, but sympathy for the innocent workers. That's when we offer to acquire them. Quite right. The truth is, we'll be making evaluations. We'll shed any employees who don't make the cut, slowly but surely. By incorporating Infinity, we eliminate a competitor, get their best employees and contracts, and all while boosting our public perception. We've already done some initial evaluations, so I'm certain of it. Infinity has a lot of appeal being in New Atlantis. I'm sure plenty of brilliant minds are there because they prefer the location. Plus, there's always that handful of people that think they've got something to prove by not working for Ryujin. As if other corporations are really any better. That's certainly our hope. Any employee with a sense of drive is sure to show themselves. Which is why I'd like you to talk to the board to convince them this is the right move. There are several who might disagree, and you have the perfect tool to help sway them. Yes, that's exactly what it's designed for. The bright side being, they'll never know. I know you can as well, so now you're fully aware of my expectations. You'll find most of the board members in their offices preparing. Vina is also here, waiting for the meeting to start. We'll need at least 50% of the vote to go our way. In the event of a tie, I will make the final decision. I trust you'll get it done.
Did Masako send you to try and convince me to acquire Infinity Ltd? I think we both know that's not going to work. Our public perception is good enough. If you ask me, reaching out to save Infinity just makes us look weak. The internal NeuroAmp gives us the power to crush our competitors, not take them under our wing. This is exactly why Masako's time as CEO is finished. I'll overlook your poorly educated statement. For now. Throwing your competitor a lifeline when they're about to crash and burn hardly seems wise. The corporate world will hear SSNN's story and believe Ryujin exposed Infinity because they stole from us. It sends a strong message. But acquiring Infinity could be interpreted as a safety net. Infinity tried to screw us over, yet they still survived. We need to be sending a much stronger message. If you mess with Ryujin, we'll shut you down. Period. Ryujin Industries isn't a corporation built on heart. I think you know that. The benefits may exist, but the message will be stronger. As long as everyone has Ryujin's best interests in mind, this should make for an interesting meeting. Maybe not for a lowly operative, but for me, personally, I think it'll be one to remember. Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have a lot of preparations to make.
Just the person I wanted to see. I want to get all the details locked down for this meeting, and I believe you to be one of the best sources available. I doubt that. But moving on. You've had the chance to encounter members of Infinity LTD throughout your assignments here. Do you think they're worth redemption? And why? Oh, I didn't mean in regards to Drexler's actions. More in the sense of, should a superior company like Ryujin make room for so many potentially lackluster employees? That is a plea more well spent on Genevieve or Alexis. I prefer to focus on the numbers and leave emotions out of my decision-making. This is true. Infinity never had the financial resources to match our salary offers. Getting what few capable employees they have at half the salary we typically pay here could have major payoffs in the long run. Next question. What is your opinion on how Masako handled the mole situation? Any insight into what made it successful? Maintaining one's reason in a time of panic speaks volumes about a person's capabilities. I appreciate the insight. I suppose I should ask if there's anything I can do for you, considering how helpful you've been. It's the next big step for Ryujin Industries. Financially, it'll keep us secure for years to come. There's no doubt it's our future. It's only dangerous to those who can't afford one, hence the added motivation that will bolster sales. The guarantee depends on if we're willing to make the financial commitment to outfitting each employee with at least a shielding component. A cost that's not lost on me as CFO. I think we all know how averse I am to chaos. Finances are my forte, so you make a good point. Our competition has yet to truly master neuroamps, but the possibility is there. It's a risk I am unwilling to take. At this time. This has been rather enlightening for me. I appreciate the time.
Great, the bane of my department. If you need something, make it quick. You don't recall our conversation after you were hired? Any legal troubles you cause are my troubles? Steer clear of law enforcement? You've been very busy, and therefore I've been very busy. Not much to discuss there. I believe I've made my case quite clear to Masako on why I am against it. All right, I could use the entertainment. Tell me why Infinity is a good asset. A certain amount of confidence during the negotiations would go a long way in this situation. Point taken. Definitely a point worth considering. Huh. Well, what do you know? I think you just convinced me. Talent like yours belongs in the courtroom. Unfortunately, half my department's been poring over documentation, while the other half is writing up what legal guidance they can. Nice to know someone is. Everyone's too busy praising its completion to think about the dangers it could represent. First off, if I find out you used that device on me, I will tie you up in court on whatever charges I can conjure for the rest of your life. Second, that tech is one major human rights violation that no legal team wants to fight. I'll do whatever I can to make sure it's either severely delayed or collects dust in storage. Well, I'm both glad and surprised to hear the one person who has one say that. Masako's lucky to have you at her disposal, even if you are a continual thorn in my side. You may be the greatest asset, aside from the internal neuroamp, that Ryujin has. This exchange has been surprisingly insightful, but now I really do need to get back to my notes.
And how's my favorite patient doing? Not seeing any temporal memory flashes or losing time, I hope. What? No, of course not. They're purely theoretical. That's great. I'd say Project Dominion is ready for legitimate human trials in that case. One step closer to seeing market approval. Genevieve is going to be so excited. So, tell me what you think of the neuroamp. I hope you're not actually suggesting that the technology I spent years working on and perfecting never sees the light of day. This is groundbreaking work. My life's work. Fine, fine. Make your case. Damn the negatives. You're right. I really haven't been taking everything into account. You really think they could come after me? Well, this conversation's made me feel like a proper monster. But you're right. In a perfect world, tech like this is used for good. But this world is far from perfect. It is. It really is. For years, my only focus has been, is this possible? And then, how do I make it work? I never stopped to consider if it was right, or what it would mean. I guess it'll be up to a vote either way. It's not on the meeting agenda, so I assume you'll bring it up yourself? We just have to hope the others will see reason. So the next question is, what will the fate of Infinity Ltd be? That's what I'm hoping for. They may be the underdog, but that doesn't mean they don't have a brilliant mind or two. Well, this has certainly been the most interesting conversation of my day. All we can do now is look forward to the meeting, right? See you in there.
This meeting should prove to be very interesting. I assume Masako briefed you on her preferred outcome. Good on you. If it were up to me, I'd have shut down Project Dominion a long time ago. I knew it was a grave security risk, and look what happened. Completely. I understand the success it can bring for the corporation, but my only concern here is security. It's not that the board majority fails to see the dangers. It's that they believe we can overcome them. That hubris could easily bring this corporation down one day. I only hope it won't be on my watch. It's not often, but yes. And I'm not the only board member that initially voted against moving forward with the research. You read my mind. Let's just hope Masako and the others see it that way. Plus, if we vote to acquire Infinity Ltd., we're about to add a significant workload onto my team. The last thing I want to deal with are any more incidents this new neuroamp might cause. I imagine we're looking at months of work. Infinity Ltd. is obviously not known for their security. I only hope that Masako and the others will be patient with the process. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some preparations to make. We'll be announcing Ularu's termination of employment at this meeting, so I need to have security ready to escort her off the premises.
Is Masako checking up on me to make sure I'm on her side? Because that's what I do. You want something in this business? You don't pull any punches. The only real question is just how persuasive she asked you to be. In this business, there's always a side. And right now, I'm backing Masako. We just need to grab Infinity Ltd. while it's got the public's full attention. I'm all about free PR, especially when it's painting us in a good light. Infinity is that sad company in distress with thousands of employees terrified of their futures right now. We are the warm embrace of security coming to rescue them. The only downsides are the unknowns. Lyndon and Alexis are going to have a lot on their hands. Not that I'm getting off easy. Whatever they find, if it hits the public, that's going to fall on my shoulders too. I'm sure I can squeeze enough goodwill out of this to last us at least a year. The consumer is our lifeblood, so capturing their wants and desires, of course, it's all I care about. I'm sure I wouldn't be in this position today if it wasn't. Well, you have my attention. Of course, which is why I know it requires some very delicate handling. But unlike Alexis, I believe we can get the proper restrictions and regulations in place to have a marketable product. We do it every day with weapons we arm ourselves and our ships with. The possible backlash on tech like this is not lost on me. However, the internal neuroamp will define the next era of tech, with Ryujin at the forefront. It's not an opportunity you just walk away from. You're right. The moment you violate your customers' trust, there's a good chance they'll never come back. Even worse, you push them into the hands of your competitors. Well, it seems your talents really do stretch beyond just being an operative. Good talk. Maybe I'll even consult you on future endeavors.
All right, everyone. As you all know, we've successfully exposed Infinity Ltd.'s botched human trials and murder for hire through SSNN. The public is demanding their leadership, namely Lucas Drexler, face trial, and he's probably writing his resignation as we speak. Ryujin will be launching a statement, but I believe now is the perfect time to acquire Infinity Ltd.
This acquisition is sure to have its financial pitfalls, but as a wise person pointed out, it would have major payoffs in the future. Plus, with their current situation, Infinity Ltd. Will be more affordable than ever.
Arguments?
We should be crushing our competition, not rescuing them from their own flaws. This is a weak decision, Masako, and you know it. In fact, I move that Masako be removed from CEO altogether.
Ularu, this isn't a line you want to cross.
And considering you're the mole, if anyone's going to be removed from power, it's going to be you.
Hold up. Are you saying you lied to us?
Dalton, the last meeting we had, you distinctly said Imogene was the mole, and she'd been dealt with.
Do you even have any proof to back up this outrageous claim?
Of course we do. The malicious code you hid on this slate to upload incriminating evidence against Masako onto Lucas Drexler's computer.
To put it bluntly, Ularu, you're fired. Security will hold you in your office until a proper exit interview can be done.
This isn't right. I should at least have the opportunity to resign.
And allow you to still be marketable to a competitor? I don't think so. This may be news to me, and I will be reviewing the evidence closely. But this isn't something you just get to walk away from.
Security, escort Miss Chen to her office and see that she stays put.
You'll regret this. All of you.
I believe the only regret would be trusting you to begin with.
All right, back to business. All in favor of acquiring Infinity Ltd?
Aye.
Good. Alexis, start drawing up the necessary documentation. Anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up? The internal neuroamp is a key component of Ryujin Industries' success for the next 10 years, if not more. Why would we shelve it after we've finally perfected it?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's right. Regardless of the pros, the cons are too morally and ethically irresponsible to move forward with.
The moment the public gets wind of the true capabilities of this tech, we're gonna suffer severe backlash.
Very well. All in favor of shelving Project Dominion?
Aye. Nay.
Vina, prep Project Dominion for storage. Any other matters to bring forth? None? This concludes our order of business for today. Shelving the internal neuroamp. Not the outcome I anticipated. The truth remains. Lucas Drexler learned a hard lesson, and we exposed a traitor among us. You've proven yourself to be quite the asset here at Ryujin. Of course. But these particular assignments required a certain secrecy that most do not. I truly appreciate the work you put into exposing Ularu. No operative has ever had to investigate our own to the extent that you did. I can imagine it may have been a lot of pressure, considering you were fairly new at the time. Not often, and certainly not to this degree. We have the occasional employee consider selling information, but thanks to our security and operations teams, we always catch them before any damage can be done. This was the first time anyone from either department was involved. Imogene's instincts were right about you. Now, as promised, I have your bonus. I hope you'll find it appropriate for all you've done. And I'm promoting you to senior operative. You've more than earned it. As for the details, I think someone back on the operations floor would prefer to explain those to you.
You've certainly shaken things up around here. I still can't believe Ularu tried to frame me. An obvious misjudgment on my part. But now that's all in the past. It's time to get back to your typical day-to-day. Of course, if you think anyone here believes in downtime, forget it. And I'd say it's good to be back if I hadn't returned to a mountain of paperwork. Now, since you were new, you've been dealing with people, but most of our assignments are generated on the mission board. The board holds any available assignments that our techs have pieced together, and I've approved. Questions? Nothing you aren't already familiar with. You experienced the majority of what we do here during your training, if you recall. Uploading a few files, manipulating a narrative or two, obtaining schematics, it's just more of the same. I wish. Assignment approval isn't exactly riveting work. With your promotion, you've earned yourself an office, so whenever you're ready, you can find your own personal mission board inside. And the best perk of them all, you're free to make your own hours. Oh, and congratulations, of course. It's been well noted, yes. But now you're officially free to come and go as you please. Go check out the board, and if you have any questions, I suppose I can start up an open door policy. Just for you.
Well, this keeps getting weirder. You get the feeling that this room is watching us?
Crix's bones. Look at you.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna start doing some scans. Like, right now.
We were right about the anomaly, weren't we? Tip our ears on the tail. Some kind of test? Were the artifacts meant to lead us there?
Vladimir, look at these readings. Cardiovascular and neurological levels aren't in the normal range.
I think we're going to need a little demonstration. Mind putting the paces to it? Everyone saw that, right?
Like a literal gift from the heavens.
And also the most practical consequence of our little venture thus far.
Got no old shipwise for this one. Going to just call weird, weird. No one in Constellation is going to lose slips on this.
I mean, Constellation's supposed to be about discovery and sharing scientific data. But this... I think playing it safe is the right call.
Can we find more of them?
Already picked one up from the scans. Matches another one of the artifacts we found. In theory, there might be one temple for each. But sifting through all the signs to identify a match is tricky. Impossible if we don't have the right artifact to compare. And even then, it takes time. You'd still need to cross-reference the artifacts we have with the data from the eye to pinpoint the source. It's a strong theory. Couldn't find that planetary anomaly without the data from the artifact. We'll need one to find the other. Not all at once. You'll need to take the home voyage after you found each one. Should hopefully have more potentials for you then. Don't think it's just Fortune's laugh that this temple responded to you. The artifacts, the visions, this power you've gotten, all seems to be the same song somehow. Plenty to think about. Anyway, catch a smile out there. I'll work on finding planet anomalies that match the other artifacts we have.
I must admit, you've surprised me. I thought you were going to take off as soon as you'd gotten something from us. But I was wrong. I want you for a little soiree I'm planning. A business meeting, of a sort at least. It's about an artifact, and our goal is simple. We're going to purchase it. Our seller is a freelance operative in the city of Neon, which means the artifact is almost certainly stolen from someone. I just need a little more presence in the negotiation to show we're serious. And I think you'd be perfect. Oh, exceedingly. The free market there is in full effect. Anything goes as long as you have the money. We'll be taking advantage of that. That settles it then. We just need to make a few stops when we get to the city, and then the drinks will be on me.
This is not gonna go well. Nothing ever goes well on Neon.
It'll be easy, I promise. I'll ride passenger on your ship until we get to Neon. Just let me know when you're ready to set off. To the Volai star system, then. I admit I'm a little excited. Smell that? Construction, incense, industrial chemicals of every kind. But they still can't get rid of the odor of chasm bass. A native species of fish. I often wonder what would have happened if they'd never found out about the psychotropic effects. I mean, on paper, a rich protein source is far more practical value than a recreational drug. But theory loses out once again to practice. Something to do with chasm bass's natural oils, apparently. If you're curious, the name is Aurora. We need to stop by the Stroud-Eklund offices. There are certain authorization procedures when large funds are being transferred, even for something like this.
Shall we continue from last time? The luxury cruise line market is completely outside of our core competencies. Investing into it is a mistake.
No, I'm here about... Wait a minute, a mistake. Our ship designers are the best in the settled systems.
They design personal craft and military ships, Walter. Large-scale accommodations and hospitality is a completely different beast. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here I am arguing with my partner. And you're just standing right here. Issa Eklund, the hyphenated Eklund in our glorious company's branding. Oh, aren't you lovely? Walter, wherever did you meet your new friend? I'm jealous.
A colleague from Constellation.
Ah, yes, the daring explorers my partner is so infatuated with. You should hear him reciting that speech.
There's no need to go into that.
Oh, my heart skips a beat when he does it. Really, it does. Such passion. If he talked to the board that way, I wouldn't need to placate them so much. Who was it again, Walter? The founder of Constellation?
Sebastian Banks, his final address before he disappeared. I merely found a group of like-minded individuals. Just like all of us.
So the big guy's secretly geeking out about Constellation. Walter, I had no idea.
Can we move on?
I know. It's my favorite hobby. Now, why are you here, my dear? The board meeting isn't for a while, and our vacations aren't coming up either.
It's the discretionary fund, Issa. I need all of it.
Ugh. This wouldn't have anything to do with that meeting you've set up at the Astro Lounge, would it?
I never said that. Did you have an agent hack into my files again?
Only after you had one hack into mine. Tell me, can mutual distrust lead to a point where it's actually the same as mutual trust? Oh, just some light sparring, dear. Walter's actually very attentive when it's just the two of us.
When you mix business and family, you learn to compartmentalize.
Oh, don't mind the two of us. Challenging each other intellectually is a cornerstone of our relationship. Now, I must point out the obvious. The Astro Lounge. Huh? It's a remarkably insecure location.
That was the point. Neutral territory in the open.
With no leverage. Oh, you must let me help. It's been too long.
I have this all taken care of.
Some investigation into the cellar. What's motivating them? Then, some preliminary casing of the Astro Lounge for security flaws. Give you the advantage if things go wrong.
Bribe a few bouncers, alter the codes on the doors.
Yes, exactly. I hate being selfish, but I would like some time with my husband. We need to go through the fund authorizations anyway.
James Newell is the broker who knows our cellar. He'll be able to help you find out more about them. And it shouldn't be hard to find the Astro Lounge. Here, let me at least give you some operation funds since I won't be joining you. Meet me back here. Yeah, I'm going to be present for the negotiation. I'm not leaving you to the Neon Sharks, I promise.
Can I get you something to drink? The Astro Lounge is one of the safest places in all of Neon. Security is handpicked from the finest officers in the city. Private meetings are usually held in the floor above. Just use the elevators. I'm afraid that would be a serious fire hazard. And I think it's only fair to warn you that the network security on our doors is state-of-the-art. Then I would say you'd be interested in the Astro Lounge VIP package. For a reasonable fee, our security can be your security. We do strive for setting the most reasonable rate. Huh. You work for Stroud Eklund? Well, perhaps something could be arranged. I hear you. Maybe we can work something out. Well, I think we can certainly offer a discounted rate for you, if you were still interested. Excellent. Let me just apply that discount we discussed, and done. We do hope your meeting goes to your satisfaction.
We're fully stocked and ready to sell. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Information isn't usually free. I think we can work something out. Okay. I don't know much, but I did have one of my freelancers tail the seller back to his place. Sleep Crate 1. Let me write down the unit for you.
You're still so tense. Normally, once we're alone, your shoulders relax. They're taut.
We're on to something remarkable. Maybe what I've always dreamed of.
I can tell. I can see your mind racing.
I haven't even stopped to ask you how you're doing.
I'm fine. The board complains, I assure them. There's the occasional assassination attempt.
So, you don't need anything from me then?
I don't.
Am I just some useless stargazer? You would have been better off marrying a Hope or a Tayo, someone who could be with you at every meeting.
Oh, don't go on about that again. Needing you isn't the same as wanting you. And I'd much rather want my partner than need them. Less complicated.
I know Constellation seems to take up so much of my time. But I never stop thinking of you. Wondering what maneuvering you're doing to take over the company and drive me out.
It's how I show my love.
Excellent. Good work. Let's head to the Astro Lounge. Goodbye, my dear. See you at the next board meeting?
Oh, I'll be keeping an eye on this little operation. Just in case. Good luck, all of you.
All right, we're here. Now, I don't know what the seller looks like, but they'll have a security briefcase with them. Larger than normal. Big enough to hold the artifact. We should split up. The code phrase to identify yourself as the buyer is Ramsey and Travers. It's not like people who trade in stolen goods are eager to share personally identifying information. Are they?
Standard operating procedure for business on Neon. Cloak and dagger's par for the course.
Remember, Ramsey and Travers. We'll meet back near the elevator.
What is it? Can't you see I'm busy drinking?
Care for some Aurora? I've got plenty.
Oh, really? I heard you all have a meeting in a few minutes, don't you? In one of those fancy VIP lounges? Speaking of which, I gotta get going myself. Excuse me.
I just saw Arcilla walk by. Good job. Now, before we head in there, let me go over the ground rules. He'll ask for twice what we agreed on. That's normal. He'll probably try to walk out. That's normal, too. Don't worry about the amount we actually settle on. The Stroud-Eklund Discretionary Fund is just a chip to you and me. Our goal is to get him to accept that chip in exchange for the artifact. Anything goes as long as it's in our hands, and we're not dead. How does that sound? That's why you're here. Hopefully our combined countenance will be enough, but grabbing the artifact and running is an option. Just do me a favor and treat it as a last resort. I have a reputation.
So you're Stroud. You look different in person.
Our public relations always insists on doing some touch-ups for the official photos. Embarrassing, really.
Your security here going to stand or sit for this little meeting, making me nervous. So polite. Almost makes me forget what planet I'm on.
Am I to assume that briefcase has our item of interest?
Yeah, here it is.
Well, look at that.
One of a kind, and I know you want it.
I have the amount we agreed on.
Things have changed. I want double.
Now how am I supposed to do that?
I don't know, but your security here seems to have some fancy gear. Why don't they chip in? Not my problem.
It is if you leave empty-handed. We came here in good faith. Now honor our previous agreement.
You either figure out a way to give me what I want, or I walk out of here right now. I leave now. I can get a jump start on the people after me, instead of you all wasting my time.
You'd be on your way already if you just take the money I'm offering you and shut up. What's it going to be? Take or walk?
All right, you win. Hand over the money. This thing is all yours.
Stop right there. You're in possession of Slayton Aerospace property.
Slayton must have been the original owner. We don't need to do this. All's fair on Neon. Am I right?
Hand over Mr. Slayton's property. Now. It's my employer's property. That's all I need to know. You gonna make me shoot you? I think we can work something out. I'm listening. Huh. All right. But Nicholas Slayton isn't a man you want after you. Good luck with that.
Something's gone wrong, hasn't it?
Slayton has put a bounty on your heads. He's greased a few palms. Your ship's been impounded at the spaceport.
There goes our way out. The CEO of Slayton Aerospace. They're a systems manufacturer. Engines, thrusters. The same way everything works on Neon. Money. It's terrible at keeping secrets. Agreed. Have a talk with the man himself.
Slayton Aerospace has offices here in the trade tower. If Nicholas is moving this quickly, he must be there or close by.
Let's head to their lobby, shall we? See if we can make an appointment.
Welcome to Slayton Aerospace. Can I help you? I'm afraid Mr. Slayton is a very busy man. Maybe I can see if he has just a moment. Maybe I could squeeze you in. Let me see. You know what? I may be starting to like you. Oh, I think we can make an exception in your case. Mr. Slayton will see you. Just use the elevator.
Walter, taking what's mine and then breaking into my office. A bold move, but one easily countered.
Oh, we're trapped.
Hello, Walter, dear, are you there?
Issa?
Took longer than I'd like, but I managed to pay off one of Slayton's security consultants. They've patched me in.
All right, we've got her out. Once the door's open, just follow her instructions, okay? For the moment, Slayton will be scrambling his own security teams once he gets wind that we're no longer at his mercy. Our time is limited. I'm aware of the irony of me continuing to say it'll be easy. But it'll be easy.
You know, it's moments like this that really makes Neon the best place to do business. You steal what's mine. I trap you in the city. You infiltrate my office. I lock it down. Where else can you match wits for the highest stakes but here? You have what's mine. I, indirectly, have what's yours. We are at a stalemate. Although I do count a few more guns on my side. I do admit, having the co-CEO of Stroud Eklund in my office is quite the opportunity.
How are your quarterlies looking, Nicholas? Perhaps we can add Slayton Aerospace to our supply chain, provided this unpleasantness was behind us.
Yes, I think that could be a most beneficial exchange. There is just the small matter of paying for the humiliation. Mr. Musgrove, my former employee, and the thief responsible for our serendipitous meeting, was caught prior to your arrival. I think it would cement our new partnership if you were to decide on his sentence yourselves. If that is your decision, you need only tell him yourself, and then we will handle the rest.
That's the price of doing business. If you're a thief, that is.
My security brought Musgrove to my office. I'm sure seeing you again will be a fine conclusion to your previous business.
Oh no. You. Slayton really does have a sick sense of humor. 10 years working in aerospace engineering, and they laid me off. You damn right I stole that thing. They tell you if you have talent and commitment, you can go far. But the truth is, it's all about who steals the most and gets away with it. Slayton took it all. Probably in one of his secure accounts somewhere.
I'll settle up with him later. Arbitration, lawyers, all that nonsense.
Please, I was just trying to sell a product, okay? Isn't that why we're all here?
Be lenient. We were taking advantage of his initiative, after all, even if we have found ourselves working with the man he stole from.
Justice for some, huh? Fine. Rather be caged than dead.
You knew the risks, so don't act like a martyr, pal.
I will make the arrangements for Neon Security to take him into custody. You're free to leave.
A deal with a man who wanted us dead. I guess we can call that a win. What do you think? Thank you. I guess. Some people call Issa a jewel, but she's more than that to me. I can't really describe it. There's a me, and a her, and an us. And I wouldn't trade the us for all the credits in Neon.
I always assumed your marriage was all business. You guys really are cute. Get a room, right?
All in all, a great success. Thank you for allowing me to tag along with Constellation's newest star. Yes, I used a pun. Forgive me.
You hold something you have no right to. My people have killed for less. But I will offer you one chance to hand over the artifact and turn away from this path.
Oh, that's not any type of ship I recognize.
semblance to your own vessels only aids us in masking our presence. We are the Starborn, and you are unworthy to possess the artifacts.
What gives you the right to determine we're worthy? We're dripping worthiness.
Tell us, please. What are the artifacts? What are they for? Did you make them? What gives you more right to them than humanity?
Answering your questions is exactly what we cannot allow. Abandon your thirst for knowledge, or drown in it. We are growing impatient. Cease your attempts to stall for time.
But you speak our language.
We know everything about you. That is why your kind cannot have the artifact. The more you understand, the more damage you will do.
How could just knowing what you are be dangerous?
Our distance from you is the whole point. We interfere now because we must.
I'm not liking what I'm seeing on the scans. Energy output from that ship is far above the normal range. If we spin up the grav drive now, we have a chance. We'll get through this. Hold on.
How is Neon? Are you okay? No? Okay. I'll start transferring the data over now. Is that a prototype? No, that material isn't anything we... What the... Everyone, come take a look at this.
That's no faction vessel or Crimson Fleet. Secret military tech, maybe?
No United Colonies Admiral approved that starship design.
They call themselves the Starborn. Demanded we hand over the artifact. Like we were children, playing with their parents' things.
What do people know? Any offshoot groups go by that name?
None in any corner of the settled systems I've seen. Maybe a distant human colony finally popping its head up? Another house for Rune?
I very much doubt that.
We ignoring the obvious here? A heretofore unknown group who just happens to know about the artifacts. I'm just gonna say it. Intelligent alien life, or extra-dimensional beings. The original creators from the furthest fringes of space.
Or beyond even that. Is the metaphor of avenging angels coming down to keep humanity from forbidden knowledge not apt here?
So, we have a lot of theories, but nothing concrete. Except that they're after the artifacts, and they're willing to take them by force.
No settled systems lab made these things, and I doubt one of them made that ship either.
So, we got some weird extra-dimensional beings that coincidentally decide to build their spacefaring vessels exactly like we do. Not so sure about that.
Noel, start analyzing all the data from the ship sensors. The gravitational wave they caused, scans of their weapons, shields, everything. We're in the dark. We need to learn anything about them we can, including some way to fight them if necessary. Until then, we stay the course. Collect the artifacts. It's even more important now that an intelligence we don't know or understand is looking for them. That ship could be anywhere in deep space. Even if we got lucky, a single grav jump and we'd lose them. All we can do is be more cautious, but we are not stopping. This could end up being a race we don't want to lose. Vladimir, has the Eye picked up anything new?
Some glints of shine in the dark. Ready to hand them out as soon as you please.
All right. Good luck, everyone, and be careful out there.